how would you know that, right? Unless you...
I feel like I wake up and I just lost 200 divines every day. The drama went crazy.
When I found out that it wasn't going to be, I was like, yes.
It's insane. It's the craziest build ever.
Welcome to another episode of the PoE Report, a podcast about all things Path of Exile 1 and 2 from myself, Dreamcore, and my co-host, Palstron. Pal, dude, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. There's a lot of new stuff to talk about, a lot of secret quest lines that have been found in the game. People are pimping up their character a little bit more. They're getting geared. And today we have a special guest, Local, with us that we're going to talk about a little bit in terms of build guides and what he's been doing throughout the whole league. How's it going, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah,
very good. I'm playing a lot of the game. Yeah, playing a lot of this patch. Yep. This patch is really, really fun. So
yeah. Are you guys as addicted as I am?
Yep.
Just like can't stop playing. It's so good. So good.
I saw the PoE 1 announcement. I saw the PoE 1 announcement and I couldn't even really group it yet.
I felt nothing. I felt nothing. It was the first time I've seen an announcement. I was just like, I can't believe it. I don't actually care right now.
Yeah. But I need the teaser. Once you get the teaser, then it's different. But just the announcement is but once you get the teaser, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was really surprised to see that. I'm not going to lie. It kind of surprised me seeing it this soon. I guess they want to kind of bring the PoE 1 patch in sooner rather than later so they can do the resets. But it was a bit of a shock actually seeing it and be like, oh, okay, that's happening literally next month. That's crazy. But
yeah.
Always happy to see.
They're going to do a long league, right?
Yeah.
They're probably going to do a long league and then do 2 resets for PoE 2 and PoE 2 release. And then somewhere in February is probably going to be... there's going to be a half a year PoE 1 league, probably, I would say.
Yeah, same as this one. Because this one it started in January? So it's going to be another 6-month league? Right? Yeah. Because we had January. January was...
December.
Actually, I don't know,
it was December, and then you mean the PoE 2? The last.
No,
PoE?
I'm talking about PoE 1. When did the last PoE?
No.
Wait, that was March.
It was March, I think.
It was March. Yeah, it was unplanned.
Dude, my time this year is it's so weird. I'm used to planning my life around 3-month blocks, and it's just then it makes sense. But now they keep shuffling stuff, and I don't know what happened, or it's I'm lost. Okay, so it'll be 4 months, so it's on track.
I mean, they're just getting into it now, right? They're kind of getting into the cycle now. It feels like this is what they wanted to do for a long time, and now they're just getting into it. So it definitely feels like it's becoming a bit more reliable with the patch cycle, and I guess we can expect more of that after PoE 2 actually goes into full launch.
Yep.
But yeah, one of the things I want to immediately start discussing in this podcast is, and Palstron just started talking about it at the start there, which is the secrets that have come in this patch, which I think is super exciting. Some of these things are some of the most fun things I've seen in an online game ever, in any online game, not just Path of Exile. One of them there is, and probably the most important one, I suppose, is the Martyr of the First Edict, which is basically once you're at level 100, you can... if you're the first person to do it, you can sacrifice your character, and your character is voided, and that's it. You can't play on that character anymore. But everyone else in the league has the option to actually go to the site where you voided your character and receive an extra passive point, which is really, really cool secret that they put in there. They didn't tell anybody about it. They just kind of left this area that you could visit, and there was this thing where you could it looked like you could get in there, but you clicked on it and it was you're not worthy or something like that, right? Before you could actually do it. So yeah, people discovered that's the thing. I want to do a bit of discussion on how you guys feel about those secrets and stuff in this patch. Is that something that you guys really enjoy? Local, let's start with you.
Yeah, that thing, when I got a Discord message about that, it was dude, this is so cool. You can go get a free pass point. I read it 3 times and I didn't understand it. Yeah, I was what? He killed... We all get something because he killed his character? It was so cool. I love that. And then all the discoveries with the taming. I remember when we saw barracks. We saw the barracks rings in the patch notes. And then the immediate thought was just recombinate, right? It was 3 to... Not recombinate, reforge 3 to 1. And then there's going to be a taming. And then on day 2... you search the taming and there's none showing up on trade. So you're oh, okay, I guess they just didn't add it to the game. And then again, 2 days later, someone's dude, go watch Travic stream right now. And you just go check and you see this crazy thing. And then you see the item and it's I think the best part with all these secrets is that the payoff is worth the hunt. You know, like the taming is so strong. It is so strong. It's like made for twisters. So it's not like there's this big Easter egg hunt and then the person finds it and you're like, whatever. It's just like mind blowing, all of these. So I absolutely love it.
For me, the biggest part, I think, is that they made UIs for all of them. Like, how niche is taming in the grand scheme of the game? How niche is it to get a lore weave? And they have like this thing where you can put in 60 different rings. Like they thought about all of that. Or the animation just for that one guy who sacrifices themselves, right? Like they build everything, and it's just, there's so much attention to detail this patch. Or like the quest item with the mana wand. There's so many small things that this almost feels a little bit like an MMO, almost like an MMO experience in that way. And what a way to make people care about racing, right? Immortalizing yourself and giving everybody a passive point and showing up in the ladder for the whole league is crazy. That is just such a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool that they actually kind of just put in the effort to do this, like beyond all the extra stuff they've done. They've done tons of stuff this patch, right? They've done all the mechanics reworks and stuff in the end game, and completely overhauled the way how the Atlas progression works in the end there. And they kind of went out of their way to do these crazy secrets that potentially people weren't going to discover for weeks and weeks at a time, right? And it's one of those things where it's like when you do discover it, yeah, it's really cool. You get this kind of community kind of get together to be able to try and work these things out. Like, Palstrom, in your stream, you were kind of trying to discover how to create the new wand, right, that you can get from the quest to actually build enough mana to then actually get that wand as a quest reward. I think that whole community aspect is so cool, and people found that area where the Martyr of the First Edict takes place, and they just didn't know what to do with it. They're like, what's going on there? Like, there's something here, surely. And I know that Mark in the Q&A was talking about how like he was waiting for someone to discover it. Like, he just every morning he was getting up and like, I just wanted to see what they're going to think of it.
Yeah, also talking about the Runeseeker's Call quest line, how cool is it that there is a super powerful unique that you can build around and that you find as a quest item? I don't think we've ever seen that in any Path of Exile before. And even though the item is now really expensive, I can just go ahead and tell people you can farm it in the quest line. Sure, it's not easy, but you can get it, right?
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
I think that's a really cool idea how they did it, though. It's like, because you have to get the RNG to actually get the quest item, and then you need to actually fulfill the quest. Like, you need to have 10,000 mana on a character to actually be able to use the rune and charge it, which I think is a really good way of doing it, because it's like an RNG, and then it's like almost like a lock behind what build you're going to kind of create with that, or perhaps you're going to sell it afterwards, right? But you still need to actually have the 10,000 mana together, which I think is a really cool way of doing it. I'd love to see more of that in the future, where they add these like really powerful items behind quests.
I'm sure there'll be more. How does that one work? I haven't watched it yet. Is it like something you have to charge and it drains your mana, and you need 10,000?
No, so you get a quest item from Uhtred, one of the expedition bosses. Mm-hmm. You can force him with certain items, so you can have him in every logbook. You can have an Uhtred if you want to. And I don't know, the estimates range from between every 10 to every 40 Uhtred's. You get a quest item. You can only get it once per character, but more often per account. And afterwards, you have to get 10,000 mana, then right-click the quest item, and it charges the runestone with your mana. And then you go Act 4 to Farul, I think he's called, right? And he gives you the item, the Runeseeker's Call. He just gives you the item.
Huh, that's so cool.
Yep.
I've had like a weird quest item from Expedition in my inventory for days now, and I don't know what it is. No, it's not a runestone. It's just like some weird
Journey to the East.
What it is? Maybe it is Journey to the East.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, that one has to do with like the crater, I think. Did you do the crater?
I did. I've done it lots of times. I'll go check it out, but I guess it does make
Isn't Journey to the East the Loreweave one? I think it's the Loreweave one, right? You speak to Danik.
Maybe it's the Loreweave one, yeah, that could be it. Then you try go to Act 4.
Yeah,
you
go
to Act 4.
Oh, okay, I just need to go to Act 4, right, okay.
Oh, no, you need to speak to Danik, actually.
That's it, yeah, you speak to Danik.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's all these like how would you know that, right? Unless you start going onto Reddit and like Discords and be like, what is this thing? And then people are like, oh, you must do this and this and this and this. And that's it's got that like MMO community aspect where it's not just like a pop up on your screen. It's like, no wait, you have to know the secret. Like the taming, I don't actually know how that works. I've seen people do it, but I would never figure that out. So
yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, but it's kind of like old school open world RPGs also had that. Do you just find a random key somewhere and it has like an engraving and it has like 3 words and you're supposed to know where to go. And then on the opposite side of the map, 2 days later, you find like a chest and it's like, oh, I have exactly the key for it. That's kind of how it feels a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. It's sort of like, I guess like the D4 cow level, which is, I don't know if they've figured it out, but it's got that same vibe of like this big community project. So I'm sure they will add that, especially the race. Now we've basically got like a race to kill your character, but it's so worth it, right? Because everyone will love you for that. It's like, dude, thank you for the point. It's just like amazing. I'm sure there's still more stuff though, right? There's probably some.
They said there's one
stuff
in the Q&A.
Is there one more?
There's one more secret, but it's currently bugged. Like, so it doesn't actually work right now. So they said what they're going to do is they're going to fix it without telling anyone, and then I guess it would be there. So my guess is it's probably another quest item, I want to say, maybe, and it's just currently bugged so it doesn't drop. Because I think...
Is there a unique that we haven't seen yet that's data mined?
I haven't seen any uniques that
I haven't seen anything either.
No.
Because the Rune Seekers was the only one for a while. Because I was aware, mildly. But yeah.
Yeah, there's other secrets in this patch as well, like the Archon of Chioda, which we obviously we already knew about that because I guess another topic to discuss here is that all of these things kind of get data mined, which I think, for better or worse, it is sometimes one of those things where it's like it can spoil it for some people. Other people kind of get it a bit ahead on the secret, and they kind of like are able to dive into it a little bit, do a bit of research, and kind of understand that this is probably how it's going to work. They actually talked about that in the Q&A as well. Mark said about how like the taming, obviously it was there. People from PoE 1 kind of knew it was going to be a thing, but they didn't really want to. They didn't want to have any easy way for people to actually know like how to assemble it. I mean, for me, I wanted to try out the Archon of Chioda, so I rolled an Acolyte, and getting that skill unlocked in the Breach quest is one of the coolest things like I've experienced in this game. It's actually just awesome because you get like your
character looks different.
Yeah, your character looks different for a start.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah, like all your face and like all of your chest is like covered in glowing like purple runes, like that after you become an Archon of Chioda. And also, the Acolyte of Chioda gets a unique like dialogue from Chioda, and you get like a different thing happening, right? The monk itself actually gets unique stuff as well, which is really cool. But yeah, overall, I think the secrets I want to see them do more of that. I loved the hidden like Lich Ascendancy that they did a few patches back. I want to see more of that stuff going forward, like more of the secret quests for like these epic uniques. More hidden Ascendancy stuff is really awesome.
You know what I also like? The anti-symmetry I like as well. It's like the one Ascendancy gets one, and then the other one gets like, no, not a new Ascendancy. It's just like 1 point different, and then other ones don't get anything. It's like this randomness, and you just have to know it, right? I'm just wondering how much there is going to be to know in like a few patches, because this game is ramping up like crazy, and it's going to overtake PoE 1 in like a few leagues already. I already know.
How long do you think it is before all these cool secrets that we're raving about now become just like something people are complaining about on Reddit all the time? They're like, oh, why do I have to do this and this? Like, why can't I just get a taming as a drop? It'll probably happen, but
3-4 leagues.
3-4 leagues. Okay, we'll put a check on it in like 1 year's time. Reddit's going to be full of like, why do I have to do this thing?
I do really like what you were mentioning there, though, Palstron, about that they never felt like they needed to do it for everything, right? Because I remember when the Lich one got data mined, and people thought that there was going to be a Abyss Ascendancy for every Ascendancy in the game. And when I found out there wasn't going to be, I was like, yes, like that's exactly what I want.
Because it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
because that's kind of Lich Abyss that makes sense. Lich Abyss makes sense. Chayula with the Chayula Ascendancy makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. And whenever there's a Kauri expansion, I can guarantee you one of the warriors is going to get something, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
people into lore must be loving it. It's so cool.
Yeah,
it's weird because I never cared, but it just makes sense.
Yeah,
it's not. It's built into the game.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel forced. It's like very, it's like very real and part of the world, and it's just like my emotion.
They have done really well with the narrative in this patch, though, I've got to say, because like PoE 1, you just never really cared about the story because they didn't really make you want to care about it. The way they told the story wasn't really. You actually had to go your way to like learn about all these things. And in PoE 2, they actually kind of have a very good way of doing it. You kind of have a lot more dialogue that you can just listen to while you're going through the game, and they're doing it in a more like cinematic way, which I think is really, really cool. Because the Path of Exile story isn't that bad. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to cut your way to look for. So I like that they're going a bit more into that in PoE 2.
Did you guys, speaking of secrets, did you guys see the expedition Oriath secret?
Oh,
if you keep traveling down by opening logbooks, you eventually find Oriath, and then there's like the beast. And if you like click it, it starts roaring. But just again, like you said, like attention to detail, just this little piece of things that you go like, dude, that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, because they discussed that before the patch release. I think they said that it would be there, but you can't do anything with it yet because I think they're going to have a plan for it. Maybe in the end game you'll be able to do something with it because we're going to be going to Oriath in Act 5, but we don't know what happens to it after the campaign. So. That's pretty cool. All right, let's move on. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk a bit about builds because there's some really fun builds this patch, and I got this feeling where I just want to play so many builds. I don't know about you guys, but there's just so many interesting things going on this patch. I kind of want to frame this discussion a little bit more towards unique items and the skills that they provide because I think in a lot of ways they've tried to. Bring new uniques in this patch and kind of design them in a way where you can build your character around them or at least implement them in a way that they have a huge impact on your build. We're currently, all three of us are playing builds with new unique items right now. Local, you're playing a really cool Eventide Shatter Chain Martial Artist, which looks absolutely awesome. I'm playing an Acolyte of Chola with Brutus Lead Sprinkler, and Palstron is playing, of course, the new Runeseeker wand, a massive mana stacker. I think that's some of the most mana I've seen on any character. I wanted to do a bit of discussion with this. Local, let's begin with you with discussion on the build that you're playing, because that build looks absolutely awesome. When I saw it, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the 0.1 Herald chaining, right? But it's almost a little bit more satisfying than that, because you kind of get these chain pops that kind of just bounce off of each other. It just looks awesome.
Yeah, no, you can basically create these loops where it just keeps shattering throughout packs. And now I've also added in like repulsion, which like curses enemies, and it just like keeps the trigger going. So if there was this like a line of monsters from one end of Strand to the other, you could hit it and it would just go like from the one end to the other. It's so satisfying. I think that's just one of my favorite things about it is just, especially with PoE 2 builds, people come into chat and they're not complimentary about like, wow, this build is so tanky or it deals so much damage. They come in, they like, this build is just so much fun to play. It's so fun. It's the damage is great and everything, but I really like that they're adding these types of things into the game where it's just kind of, I don't know if I would say it's a bit broken for now, but these unique skills on items gets you cooking when you see it. Like when I saw that amulet linked to me from just someone in chat and I read it and I was immediately just like, you get the gears turning. How do I build around this? And then you think, wait, that's so strong. Why is no one using that? And then you just start planning your whole build around it. And that moment, that's kind of, I went into the league with that mentality of like, no plans. Let's just see what happens. And then you open yourself up to these things and you find it. And yeah, it has that exact same feeling of like, this feels kind of illegal and they're going to patch it, but let's have fun with it while it lasts.
What I really like about some of the new uniques they're making is they're not just stat sticks They're like, the way I see it, the coolest unique items are the ones that you can't just compare to a rare weapon or a rare Emmy or whatever, but you start building around it and it just gets you in a completely different direction, right? You make new decisions because of it. It's kind of why, for example, I like Titan, the Titan Ascendancy with small passives get 50% increase. It makes you actually change the way you approach builds. And there's a lot of those this patch. And I really think they should make more unique items like this patch. And because you said broken, everybody this patch seems to think their build is broken, which is how you know it's a good league, right? That's just how you know.
Yeah. Everyone you see, like, what are you playing? What are you playing? What are you playing? And people have like a dozen different answers, and everyone's, it's insane. It's the craziest build ever. And then they play something else, and that's the craziest build ever. And everyone's just having fun, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I want to touch on that like theory crafting aspect that you were talking about there, where like you see the unique item. Because for me, that was it with Bruce's Lead Sprinkler. I saw it and I was like, okay, that's great. They're adding it to the game, but it's a mace, right? And it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to use mace abilities to actually trigger the Molten Shower, and how am I gonna kind of get around that? And that's when I saw the Acolyte of Chioda tornadoes there. Their attacks, and I was thinking, well, if they're attacks, they must be using your weapon. They're taking your weapon damage. And the moment I actually tested that, I remember I tested it in like one of the went to one of the interlude areas and tested the tornado, and it started proccing the molten showers, and I was like, yes, this is good. That's it,
dude.
Like, that's the build.
That's the best feeling, right? That's the best feeling. You read something, and you're like, this has to work, and you try it, and it does, and it's just like, okay. Here we go. I heard that your first build didn't work, right? So you had like the opposite experience with that.
Oh yeah, my first build was an actual disaster because like I had such a cool idea as well for it. Like Monk using maces is already kind of unorthodox. It's like something you're not gonna, But it was just a complete fail. Like as soon as the crit interaction didn't work, the build was dead to me. Like I couldn't. There wasn't really any saving it, right? And I wasn't going to attempt to do that either because it's league start as well, like, right? When you're doing a league start, like I don't want. There was other people trying to follow the build as well, so I had to like say like this is it, like just find another build, right? Because ultimately, like I don't want to try and salvage this with another way of doing this because basically it's going to end up worse than other builds. Just go and follow someone else's build guide, and I'll find something else to do, which is what I did with it.
And you did, right? So like it sucked, but it led you in this totally different direction. I'm sure you're really happy about it. Where you're like, screw it, let's try this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the Acolyte builds turned out really fun. It's a very unique build in that like the play style, right? Because most Path of Exile builds, at least in Path of Exile 2, when you kind of optimize a build, you're trying to use like one skill. In this one, you basically don't really use any skills because you just walk around and the tornadoes just do everything. You're just dodging around, right? You're barely clicking any buttons at all. So, that's perfect. Kind of an interesting build.
Void is also doing an interesting one. Void is doing Void 241 is doing is it called Repulsion? The aura.
Yeah,
he's doing he's doing that with Brutus Lead Sprinkler. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I am using
also
that.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm using that in my build because it basically.
I'm using it as well. Okay.
Yeah, it's an attack hit, and it just like when it actually triggers, it also procs Brutus Lead Sprinkler, so it's just like an extra way of getting a hit.
Yeah.
I also have a Thorns modifier on my belt, which initially I was like, okay, this is not very useful, and then I realized that actually that counts as a hit, which then procs Repulsion, which then procs Brutus Lead Sprinkler. So anytime something hits me, I just immediately like have a bunch of molten shower just coming out and everything just dies, right? So it's ended up being kind of a useful mod in the end. Yeah.
Is that the belt that baits me into thinking it's Mage Blood all the time? Is that the belt? The Thorns belt?
Oh, you're talking about that one. That one's really weird. I saw Mathil making a build around that. Like, is that the one where it's a little bit like Petrified Blood, the mechanic where like you can't recover life above 50%?
Oh, Cat Nine Tails. Yeah,
Cat Nine Tails. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Dude, I found that today. I was so disappointed because you go over it for a second, you're like, oh, and then no.
Mathil's build looks amazing though. Have you seen that? Like, that's a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, it's like tons of damage. Yeah. I feel
it's been so hard to keep up, man.
Yeah.
And everything I see, I'm like, oh, I want to play that. I want to play that.
Yeah. That's exactly what. Yeah. That's exactly what Palstrom was saying there, where it feels like everyone is playing the OP build. And I don't know, like I guess they just kind of got a pretty good balance overall in this patch, where it feels it feels like you can kind of break the game, which is what ultimately that's what these games are about, right? Like you want to have that feeling of you can get to that ridiculous power level. And it feels like you can do that on so many different classes and so many different archetypes in this patch, which is really, really cool. I do think that some of that does go back to the uniques, because a lot of them are kind of powerful, how they've introduced them. Maybe they'll end up nerfing some of them in the reset patches, but I think they've done a pretty good job overall on the unique design in this patch.
I wonder how much of it has to do with, like, if you think about PoE 1, it's so optimized, and people have these expectations about what a build needs to do. And then there's also a higher ceiling of, like, content that is quite a lot more difficult. So that's quite restrictive on creativity and meta, especially as content creators. You don't want to, like, get too crazy and weird. I'm wondering if a lot of the things people are trying and being successful with are a combination of that, of just like, there's not really any expectations because the whole endgame is new. So screw it, maybe I can try this weird Thorns build. And also the community is not like hypercritical of everything. And then there's just so much fun stuff, and everyone's okay with trying stuff rather than being, I don't know if you guys feel it, but like when it comes to league starts and like league start builds, there's like a certain level that you want to hit to make sure that your build is like viable, right? And this league, the game's not that hard, right? For most of us, right? Other than Delhi 200%, you can just do stuff without thinking like, can it do tier 17s? Can it do bosses? Can it do this? Which is what happens with PoE 1, and then, if it can't do that stuff, then you're like, all right, I'll maybe try something else. So,
and there's still people, because I talked about this today, that in Path of Exile 2, playing bad builds is just not very fun as well. Like, it's just not fun to have a bad build, especially early on in the campaign and stuff. The difference between having a good build and a bad build, you'll get punished on every front. Like, you'll get one shot, because if you don't deal damage, then you can have as much defense as you want. You're still going to get destroyed. If you don't have defense, you might also get destroyed. I don't know what it is about this game, but if you don't have a good build, it's just not very fun. The game just comes at you from all sides. That's kind of how it feels like. And I think Path of Exile 1 had a similar thing in the past where, to what you said, the game got harder in PoE 1. Like, if you remember Expedition in Path of Exile 1, before that, making builds was mostly chill, because it was pretty easy to get a league starter going. And after that, like, the drama went crazy because it got harder and harder to make a good league starter where people feel good with it. So as a creator, it was weird. It was a weird time zone. And in PoE 2, the game is a lot easier, so you can make mistakes, right? You can learn, because everybody's kind of learning right now. But I wonder if that's going to change as well in Path of Exile 2, the more stuff gets added, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, if they start adding like ultra hard content, then it immediately restricts that. I mean, for example, like I don't open PoE for PoE 2. A lot of it is just like vibe space testing. I know that it's not perfectly optimal. If I were to open PoE, I could probably see there's like different travel nodes on the tree that would be higher damage or whatever. For example, one thing I did today was I thought, oh, maybe I should, instead of these area of effect for attack nodes on my tree that they're not doing anything numerically, like a little bit numerically. If I said unspec those and then like go to the top of the tree and get +1 cold skills and cold damage, it's going to like solve my attributes a bit, and it's numerically better. And I did that for 2 maps, and it felt bad. It felt just wrong. Like I needed those, like the AoE helped. It just like helped it all come together. And I think the moment you start just like pobbing everything, which is kind of what we do in PoE 1, then you don't necessarily always make like the fun choice that feels the best, because on paper it looks worse. And that's something I'm loving with this league. It's just like, you can just play the game. You can just play the game and be like, I don't know, I'll try that. I'll try that. Or someone in chat's like, hey, why don't you try these supports? And you're like, okay, I'll do that. But in PoE 1, it's like, no, like these are numerically incorrect choices, and therefore I will not make that. But
true.
Do you get that?
That's true in one aspect, but to be fair, that is still a you issue, right? Where you feel like you can't take that projectile speed node because it doesn't give you damage, but it would make it feel better. Or you feel like you can't take the AoE node because it's numerically. But then again, who judges that, right? And should you really make your build worse just because others will look at it in a certain way, right? That's
exactly.
But I understand
like,
what you mean.
You know what I mean? You got that thing in the back of your head of like, people are going to look at my POB and then they're going to be like, this is mathematically inferior. And that is just like nonsense.
Those are choices you have to make though, right? Like no POB lives through actually playing the game. Like it just doesn't work. So if people don't understand that, that's like, it's rough, but you still have to make that choice. You still have to take that AoE either way, right?
Exactly. And then you can just say like, hey, why did you take this instead of this? And it's like, I tried it and it felt better. And I feel like people understand that when I'm talking about when I'm streaming PoE 2, I'm like, this just felt like it feels better. It's more fun. And I think that is a correct answer rather than like it make number go up. It's more like it make.
I think a lot of that comes like the comparison between PoE 1 and PoE 2. I think a lot of it comes down to PoE 2 having a lot of new stuff every single patch. The new stuff that like fundamentally changes how we're building. Like there's new Ascendancies, there's new support gems that kind of change how you're going to build your character. There's brand new unique items that are completely built around. It feels like every single PoE 2 patch, and especially this one, because this one was huge, we are doing a lot of experimenting. Whereas in PoE 1, there's a lot less experimentation going on other than like, here's some crazy new unique that comes in. Because we haven't really had that like gigantic balance patch that everyone's been waiting for in PoE 1 for a long time. When that comes, it might be a little bit more of that, where you can really kind of feel like you're experimenting and stuff again. But ultimately, like a lot of the mechanics of skills and stuff are already solved. So even when there's like this giant balance patch and there's like huge numerical adjustments, if the mechanics of the skills are the same, people already know how to break those skills and they will still break them, right? And in PoE 2, it feels like we're getting a lot of new things being layered on top, where you might kind of know how to scale something, but it's not, it's like now there's this other way of doing it, which previously you couldn't do at all. Like it didn't exist, right? So now you kind of have to make the comparison. Is this better? Is that better? I mean, like, for example, in my build right now, like, because I'm using the Archon of Chola and it's a glory skill, like, I'm using Molten Blast. It's just purely utility. I don't really deal any damage with it at all. It's purely there for glory generation, right? So I've got, like, Poison Chance on there. I have as many projectiles as possible and area effect coverage. So I can just use it once against the boss, and I instantly go from 0 to 100 glory, and bang, there's Archon of Chola, right, is active. So that's just...
You're definitely right about the culture. Like what you were saying before is definitely correct. There's definitely a different culture in PoE 1 and PoE 2 though, because I noticed this. I usually don't experiment that much on League Start. Like, have my League Starters that I start testing 3 weeks before, and then if they don't get nerfed, I League Start them. Okay, there you go. But for example, when Warden came out, which doesn't happen all that often in PoE 1, that Ascendancy gets completely changed. Like, and it's called something new. When I played Warden Lightning Strike, I remember people asking me, why not playing Slayer or Trickster? It's like, and I was like, it's new. I want to try it out, right? Like, I don't want to play something new because there's only new ones. And it's like, people just didn't even understand what I mean. They're like, no, numerically Slayer is better. And I'm like,
yeah.
Is there a disconnect here? And in PoE 2, I feel like it's the opposite. In PoE 2, you don't have to explain why you're playing Druid. It's like, I want to run around as a bear, and everybody's like, that makes sense.
Yep. I get it. I like it. Because we do get new stuff in PoE 1, right? Like, a couple of leagues ago when all the new 1 skills came out, I started experimenting with, like, Kinetic Fusillade and stuff, and even that, dude, like, Kinetic Fusillade, constantly, people are like, why aren't you playing KB? Why aren't you playing this? Like, shouldn't you just play KB? And you're like, no, it's really good. It's really good, and it's really fun, and, like, why does no one believe me? And then like, it kind of, like, it sinks in, and then people get it, and then the next league, it's like, okay, cool. And I mean, we had all the new, like, holy skills, but I don't really see anyone playing those, because I think it is that PoE 1 has just such a strong foundation of a understood, established meta that breaking away from that is so much harder. And I think it's just so nice to play the game. Just play the game and not like worry too much. I wonder if in like a year or two they start adding like ultra pinnacle content, tier 17s. Is that gonna or there's not like the big balance patches, then does it end up as the same thing where people are like, I don't know if I'm going to start the new thing because, these 10 builds are really good. It might end up in the same spot, but I'm hoping that they keep adding these types of like the uniques and the interesting things where you go, what's this? Oh, it's a Captain America shield. I want to try that because it looks cool. So
I do kind of expect it to go that way though in PoE 2. Like I do think that because the other thing is that it ultimately just always goes like this because it's kind of like you're min-maxing for like most gain, right? This is what happens in ARPGs. It's like, how can I farm the fastest? How can I farm the most? This is just kind of the way it goes. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people. And so that usually like trickles back into the build creation and that side of things, because it's like then the people who make the builds are kind of making them for a particular purpose. Again, not always, but this is kind of what happens, I think, over time. And that's probably something that we can expect more and more. I mean, you said you don't use POB, local, but I don't really use POB much for PoE 2 because a lot of the things are broken in there at the moment. Like they don't actually like function, a lot of the stats. But in time they will, right? In time they will work, and that tool will be there. So I guess, we're kind of in this exploratory phase at the moment for PoE 2, and it's going to be like that for a while because we're still getting new classes and new ascendancies and that sort of stuff. But they
can bring that. Yeah. I was gonna say like that we used to have that feeling with PoE 1, and I think the reason was that they were like massive balance patches every single patch. And often they would only release patches like 2 days before, and then there was this frantic rush of like, oh, this looks cool, and then people popping, and that kind of had the same feeling where there weren't these very established standards, and it led to more experimentation. You tune into so-and-so's stream, and he's playing this, and you're like, how's it going? And he's like, oh, it's actually pretty cool. So I think they could maintain that feeling if there is just enough balance happening and new uniques and interesting stuff. But like you say, it might get to the point in a couple of years. PoB 2 is sorted, the meta's sorted, and then you turn on stream and it's like, why are you playing this instead of this? I guess
there's a problem though. Right? There's a problem though, and it's already forming, right? Like the RMT problem in PoE 2 is pretty real and rough, as well as that inflation is happening also because of RMT, but for other reasons, is happening like crazy fast. Like the mirror prices versus PoE 1, and you can also measure this by how much can extremely efficient players, where they don't RMT, how much can they afford? And it's like night and day. It's crazy. In PoE 1, they're swimming in mirrors. In PoE 2, it's like, And I noticed this myself. When I go to sleep and I don't invest into a lock before I go to sleep, I feel like I wake up and I just lost 200 divines every day. And it's an awful feeling. And I can only imagine how it is for people who, for example, want to farm up for their Mage Blood and they just see it going up and up and up and up every day. And Mage Blood is not even like the worst example there, right? But it's rough.
How do you think
that also makes people want to play the best builds because they can do the most content and make the most currency?
True.
Right?
How does RMT affect that out of interest? Well, why does it make a mirror go up in price?
Well, because people can afford it.
It's just
okay. So there's
increases.
There's more demand.
There's more botting involved. There's more currency in the economy, and you still make the same flat amount relatively, right?
God damn, dude!
But that's a hard question. You're going down a rabbit hole here. You're going down a rabbit hole.
Mirror 3,100 divines. Like
yes,
on day 11.
That's great.
Yes.
Just like those emails, I'm sure you guys get the RMT emails, but I've had them offer you $5,000 for like a couple of ads. You're like, oh, okay, so I can just like make one video and like whatever, however X multi my revenue for YouTube, and yeah, that's just like an indication. It must be super rampant if they are offering that much money just for a couple of ads.
They must make a lot of money. Like it's crazy. Like that's
I did not.
Most of the emails I get are those sites. Like, and there's a lot of them as well. There is a lot of those websites. It's actually crazy. Like you only have to just look at the name of the site, and you're like, okay, yeah, I already know what that is. But
I mean, the email basically reads, "Are you an idiot?" That's basically the email reads. It's like,
are you Cade Games? Do you want to take our sponsor? He's like the only guy who does it, and I don't even know if it's a human being. I think it might just be a robot. So,
Crazy.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that bad. Yeah.
really bad.
It is
the
definitely
mirror
bad
price.
in PoE too, yeah.
The mirror price. God damn. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of like currency, let's discuss the kind of end game mechanics a bit, like the farming mechanics and things like that, because there's a pretty big change, pretty big shift this patch in terms of like how the mechanics actually work. We've got, quest line for each of these core league mechanics, which I think has actually gone really well. The way they actually like introduce you to the mechanic is great. And then you have like a different way of kind of pursuing the mechanic, which is basically the quest again. You just kind of like repeat it, and yeah, that's kind of how you would farm a mechanic, and you can focus in on particular parts of a mechanic, like doing Simulacrum, for example, with Delirium, which has been quite profitable for some people this patch. Local, how are you finding like farming strategies generally? Like, are you honing in on one strategy, or do you find yourself just kind of doing whatever, or how are you getting on with that?
I was just kind of doing whatever for up until today. Today I just thought, let me just try pure Abyss tablets, just like 3 Abyss tablets, not too sweaty, like not trying to roll for perfect mods, but just get one good modifier on each of the tablets and just see how it feels. And it's been very, very cool. It's been nice to see how those tablets really impacted, and then like changing on the masters is very interesting. And I can see, I haven't had that much time to play. I mean, I think my slash play is like 3 days and 12 hours or something. Okay, so it's a lot, but I can see the potential of when you really start getting like, what if I use like 3 of these tablets with very specific mods, and then this master, and then all these things on the tree. I can see how you can actually start doing Atlas strategies at this point. So I'm really excited for that. I don't know, have you guys done more like high end stuff, or have you just been sort of like throwing in whatever tablets you get?
Yeah, so for I've been in Expedition basically all league, and there's a very... Okay. Do you know what sagas are?
Mm-hmm. I don't really know what they make it like, so it's an Utrecht logbook or whatever?
No, so I guess for everybody. So sagas are kind of like omens. You can right-click them and they're activated.
Yeah.
And whenever you open a logbook for a new zone, you will get special effects. So for example, there's Utrecht's saga, which gives you an Utrecht for sure, the boss, right? But then there's a really expensive one that's like 30 divines, and it's called Alder's saga. And that one gives you extremely juicy mods on your grand expeditions. It's like, for example, every rune is at least tier 7, right? Stuff like that.
Okay.
And you're getting extreme juice, and it's like up, down, up, down. You drop like 30 divs here, then you lose 30 divs. You win like 100 divs. And Alder's Legacy, which is currently 320 divines, I already found 3 of them, and they drop from there. They are 10 runes.
They have 320 divines.
They're 320 divines.
Is that the one that deletes a unique item and then...
Yes.
God, dude, come on. Like 4 days ago, that was 30 divines. It's 320.
Like 80 or 90, yeah.
Yeah, it was
80
like
or 90.
70 or 80, I remember.
Yeah.
But you found 3 or 4.
3 already, yeah, 3. And I wasn't even farming Alders all league. Like, mostly what I've been doing is just farm Expedition. And what I realized this patch, what I love about endgame farming now, is you can literally complete your Atlas, complete, like, let's say the Breach tree, the Ritual tree, the Abyss tree, and you will just run maps and just, out of a normal map, just make like 2 divines. You find a Abyss tablet here, a Ritual tablet there, a Greater Chaos here, and you go out and you're like, I just made 2 divines, and I have no idea how. That happened to me so often, I don't even know what's going on. Like, logbooks are almost 2 divines, and they drop like crazy. It's like... So it's not just that divines are more common, which is obviously true. I'm trying to say that if you just normal mapping without a strat, you make so much more than you used to. Like, you used to make nothing in Peer 2. And that just... Yeah. I don't know what changed there. I think it's just the Atlas tree as a whole, as a package, is now most of your loot. And then a lot of the tablets are min-maxing, unless you have very specific things like Ritual, obviously, or Abyss mods. But like, the base game is now very juicy. Yeah. Anybody else felt like that?
That's pretty much what I've been doing. Like, I haven't really been doing a specific strategy. I've just basically been doing... I just do like Irradiated and maybe 2 Abyss tablets. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you literally just... You find divines so often. You're just dropping them. Like I might have a ritual randomly spawn in my map, and then I have like a random boss in there that also drops divines quite often. And one other thing I noticed, I don't know if you noticed this actually, Pal, because you've been doing a lot of Expedition. The currency chests in Expedition are dropping divines very often.
Yeah,
I'd like
eight
one
chest or so.
Yeah, like 1 in 5 or 6, I would say for me is like is a divine, which is just like they feel like they're worth clicking on, right? Which is great.
Yeah.
Just general mapping now feels. I guess before it just didn't really feel that great. And part of that was kind of like you didn't really have objectives either. So now you have objectives. Like you're like going towards something because like this is, maybe I'm going to get this one fragment for bossing, right? Maybe I'm not even going to do the boss. Maybe I'm just going to sell the fragment, but it's worth going there. Or perhaps you haven't finished a quest line in particular mechanic and you're going there and actually getting there and doing the maps on the way and just putting in any tablet. It's just farming random maps on the way. You actually feel rewarded for doing it, which is great. Like I didn't feel like that.
The good thing is also that tablets are worth so much because they drop way more frequently in maps where you don't have that tablet in. So for example, if you're using an Abyss tablet, you're way less likely to drop Abyss tablets in that map. But if you find a random one, it's gonna rain. And therefore, that's another thing. It's kind of like astrolabes in Path of Exile 1, right? If you're using an astrolabe, you can't drop an astrolabe. It's you can still drop it in PoE 2, but it's like 80% less tablets or something if you're actually using that tablet.
Huh. So, yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. So you can like farm, you can like max out farm ritual, but then make a lot of money from the tablets. And the tablet prices are crazy.
So what you're doing is, both irradiated and the powerful tablets, they don't count towards you having mechanics. They are just kind of free, quote unquote. So if you put those two in, you still have 3 open tablets for the game to recognize. So you're getting 3 mechanics randomly in your map. That could be ritual, could be breach, could be deli, could be anything. And if you just do those mobs, ritual, you don't even have to do the ritual. Because honestly, doing the ritual if you don't have juice is a waste of time. But just killing the monsters that spawn over ritual, you can drop a ritual tablet. And it's actually very frequent. And that sells for a lot. Abyss tablets almost sell for a divine at this point, I think. Like white Abyss tablets, it's crazy. So doing normal maps is juice right now.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Which is great.
Like when I wasn't that strong, I was literally just doing irradiated and overseer tablet, and then just looting tablets and selling them because they've just been. It's just really. It's such a straightforward strategy as well. Like you don't really have to put much thought into it at all. It's very low investment. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and you just go.
And if people don't know, Waystone drop chance actually scales tablets as well. Just in case.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm learning. Huh. This is gonna
sound. If you get that on your tablets, it's a high value.
Scales fragments.
Then it's a high value.
And
fragments
drops. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, have you felt like this is gonna sound so tinfoil, but like, have you felt like you've had any extra lucky maps where it's just like, damn, dude, this map dropped like 3 divines and Omen of Abyssal Echoes and Omen of Light, and I don't know if it's
Are you running Doriani?
Sometimes, yeah. Wait,
could be cleansed maps. Could be cleansed maps if you're running that node. 15% chance to either get cleansed or corrupted if you have that. Because that happened to me as well.
I don't. It's probably just like numbers. It's just like coincidentally this map drops a lot of stuff, but it's happened a few times where I'm like, I'm going to full clear this map because it feels lucky, and then you go around and you like check the strong box and it drops a divine, and you're like, so just keep a lookout.
It could be that though, still, because there's other stuff like Jado has like the percentage chance to get extra tablet effect or percentage chance to get better league mechanic or whatever. So there's a lot of that. So
it might be like you're on a grass tile and that you've allocated that drops more currency, like stuff like that, but you don't really pay. You don't think about all of that, like. Because I haven't memorized that whole tree with like 300 points. But it's cool because you just like Ulk and go, and then you, because of the amount of stuff on the Atlas tree, you get like an interesting different experience from map to map where it's like, oh, this one dropped a lot of that, this one dropped a lot of this. And it makes it interesting without you having to like sit there rolling tablets and maps and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm loving that.
How are you guys finding the mechanics themselves? Like, is there one that stands out to you as like, I know, Pao, you've been doing tons of Expedition. I've kind of been experimenting with each of them. I think Delirium is a little bit strange right now. It feels it's like it can feel rewarding if you get really lucky with the like the crystal spawns, and if you get the unique boss spawning, which is like, you know, can be Kosis, and then it drops you like a good emotion, then that actually feels really good. And I've had like a couple of those spawn in a map, like 2 or 3 of them, and it's like, yeah, that feels great. But then when you don't get lucky with that, and you're getting like purple crystal, green crystal, green, and then you get the red one that spawns, right? You're like, I'm not going in there. No, I'm not doing that.
I don't even. What do they do? What do the different colors do?
I guess I mean, the purple one's spawning some like big, like boss type creatures. They just,
the one
I don't
big
know.
guy.
They just instantly die. So I don't know. And the green one spawns like smaller, but they're definitely like unique monsters that they created for that mechanic. I've never seen them before. So they're new monsters that they added. And then obviously the red one is terrible. It's like the infinite hunger boss from PoE 1, like his realm, right, where you have to like escape, and then you get like the double anointed amulet. Yeah,
what the hell is that?
No, that's a no. That's a no go for me.
You're still getting global loot though. It's like you're still getting the global loot multiplier from the deli, so it's still really strong. But I don't know. I've heard like Milky was playing it, and I think it looked really good. It looked really good. It's just people are starting to figure it out. It's like that always, right? It was like that with the temple as well. Remember last league, first 3 to 4 days, temple's trash. And then it's like, it just takes people to experiment more and more. I had the same learning curve with Expedition. It's like you figure stuff out, and over time you realize how broken everything is once you put all the pieces together.
Yeah. You need to be so cautious of listening to what other people say about anything in this game. When someone's like, I've been told like Captain America shield is trash, and I like you might read that and just say, oh, okay, I'm not going to play it, and then you're like, whose build did you see? How were they building it? What content were they doing? How were they scaling it? But people are so quick to just be like, oh, that's trash, that's garbage, that's it, and it's like, I'm not gonna let it stop me. I'm gonna try this or that, or like Delhi. People just like Delhi is bad, and it's pretty tough, but now I'm starting to hear people like, oh, if you do like Delhi with summoning circle stacking, and then you get like bosses that drop tons of it. So I think the main thing with Delhi is just that it's kind of tough. And if you don't get any drops for a long time, you're just like, why am I doing this, man? This is like making my maps harder. I'm not getting anything. But if
it's definitely that, right? Because at the start, you're like, your character is not that strong. You don't have a headhunter yet. And it's like, why would I do this if it's so hard? I'm not even going to attempt because it takes me so long also. And then later, when you're strong, you come back and you do it as if you just did a normal map. And then you all of a sudden, wait, this is really good. Because now it takes me less time, right? And you're like, yeah, it's just free.
It's probably also where the rewards are not really as like front loaded. You don't like immediately see them like you do with other mechanics. Like it's not like a ritual window where you're just like flicking through all of the rewards and like, oh, you know, there's a really valuable unique and it's right there in front of you. And it kind of feels the same in Expedition where like, yeah, here's a good remnant. You click on it and there we go. Like the rewards right there. I think, when you actually combine these mechanics together, it's probably going to be really quite good. So, I mean, I think overall the changes they've done to mechanics, I think my favorite one is probably Expedition. I really like how they rolled the Runes of Eldar into Expedition, and I'm kind of excited for that to go core like that in the future, because I assume what's going to happen is that the Runes of Eldar is going to go away completely as like a standalone map mechanic, and Expedition will just be that now. Which, that makes sense. I think that's a thing that feels like it'll have a good place in the game going forward. But
the thing I really dislike right now is the tablet micromanaging. That's the one thing I really dislike. And for most people, that's not a thing right now. But so I tried, for example, yesterday. I was looking through because I was like, oh, should I do Abysses? Should I try out like branch out a little bit? Because Expedition is pretty easy. You're not that tablet starved. Like you don't have to have exactly this modifier with exactly this modifier. But it feels kind of like having to buy a scarab with mods in PoE 1. Like imagine not buying a scarab. You have to buy a specific scarab and you also have to roll into it. And there's like 20 on the market and it feels really weird. And that micromanaging, and then, for this map, you have to take this tablet setup, put it on the right side of your inventory. And then, this map, so I have to take the other tablets. And every tablet costs like 10 divines. So if you don't do that, you're also missing out. So it's like, I really dislike that right now, and that's what I like about Expedition, that it's a little bit more out can go in between, and that you only have to use very, very particular maps. I really hope that goes away over time, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you mean though. When you start doing like proper strategies, now it's like,
Yes,
oh, shit,
proper
I need
strategies.
to now like either buy those tablets with multiple specific mods, or like shit, am I gonna start? I don't know if you can use fracture orbs on them, but maybe people are gonna start fracturing their tablets and then just like chaos spam, chaos spam. Ah, yeah. Then it's just like, but in PoE 1, you're just like, all right, get these scarabs, put the thing in, go. Right? It's so nice.
Yeah,
So,
we used to have that problem in PoE 1 as well, though, and it also got better over time, right? So
yeah. With like compasses and whatever, not compasses. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I guess that's one of those things they're going to kind of work on over time. It does feel like tablets are basically just a worse form of scarabs. But I think it's like one of those things that they're trying to experiment with a little bit, because obviously the Atlas tree works differently in PoE 2. It's not, the content in PoE 1 is coming directly from the Atlas tree, then you're like juicing up, whereas this kind of flipped around in PoE 2. So they kind of need those modifiers on there in a way, so they can like customize the content a bit more. So I think that would be something that they can, over time, they can probably, work on a little bit, and they may even end up completely changing that system. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not even bitching about it really, because like right now, like I said, you can just run normal maps, non-strats, and you make a lot of currency as well. So right now it's fine. I'm just saying, if that ever ceases to happen and you need to run a strat, then everybody's going to feel that, right?
Yeah, then you start feeling it. I don't even necessarily think tablets are a inherently worse system than scarabs. I think there is something potentially more interesting about it, but yeah, once you really want to start,
you mean like the randomness about it with the mods?
Yeah, there's something cool, because it's like, instead of me now, I have to use this scarab and this scarab and this scarab, I'm gonna just like trans org whatever ulk and see what I get, and then cool, this map has like an extra abyss, but I wouldn't have previously. Like, if I was just using like a scarab, then I would always kind of know what I'm getting. But when I roll my tablets and then combine them, I get this combination of like 12 interesting modifiers that affect the way the abyss feels. So like, these 10 maps are going to feel like, whoa, there's tons of abyss in here. And then the next 10 are going to feel like, oh, there's like tons of rare monsters coming out and like way more desecrated currency, which is nice if you're just doing Alk and Go, but it's super annoying if you now are like, okay, the best thing is +2 rare monsters and plus desecrated currency and 32% chance to get 4 abysses. And now you're trying to roll for that. Then it's just like, okay, I hate this. Yeah. But I'm not going to do that, because you don't need to. You don't need to. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And it's the same in Abyss, right? Like in Abyss, you can also just do Alk and Go. Like, you don't have to follow the juice strat. Yeah.
I don't even know what the juice strat is. And I just did it today, where I was just like, okay, these each have one good mod. And you find stuff, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's different. Fair, yeah. Every time is different. Yeah. So I think that part, I don't know how they would get that balance, if you can have that balance of both like not having to micromanage at the top end, but also having that interesting, unexpected outcome of like a combination of 12 different mods.
I think they're getting there, though. So
they will get there. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of farming strategies, let's kind of begin to wrap up the pod with discussion on everyone's favorite farming strategy, the temple, of course. So the temple is kind of, it's gone from 0.4, we had just the ridiculous outcome of just divines everywhere. It's probably the most ridiculous I've seen PoE 2, like just watching other people's streams. I didn't really get involved with the temple much. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm still not a fan of it in this patch. But I remember just watching people's streams, and they're just dropping like crazy amounts of divines every single run. Absolutely ridiculous. And then obviously it got nerfed, and they kind of like got rid of the snake strategy, or they tried to sort of get rid of that strategy for this patch, right? They actually had that already in the Q&A. They discussed how they already had that ready to go, but they wanted to kind of leave 0.4. They thought it was already a ship sailed, I guess, at that point. So they came in, they done some work on it. Then at the start of this patch, we kind of had murmurings of like the temple isn't actually as dead as we thought, right? And I think Milky actually made a video, and then like I think it was a day after.
Videos,
yeah, and then a day after, right, it got patched, or was it a day and a half, something like that?
He got patched multiple times after he did the snake. They nerfed it. He did the snake. They nerfed it. Now he's at the Hydra. I don't know if that's gonna get nerfed.
Oh no, come on, dude.
Yeah.
And then in the Q&A with Zizaran, Mark was actually just going off on one about the temple. He was like, it ruined my Christmas. Like, I I don't, I've had enough of it basically, and obviously Ziz kind of was talking about how there might be another strategy which is a bit out of line. So I wanted to just a little bit of discussion here at the end of this podcast on the temple. How do you guys feel? How do you think the temple fits in the game right now? Like, in my opinion, it doesn't really have a place in the game right now because it feels like it's trying to like wholesale replace mapping in a way for everything. You just run temple only, like you build your temple, run temple only, you get a good amount of currency drops. It's kind of trying to, wholesale replace that rather than be this kind of exclusive thing that the other League mechanics are going for, where I'm farming ritual for fishing for particular uniques, or, I'm farming expedition and getting particular runes, these types of things, right? How do you guys feel about temple local? Let's begin with you.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit out of place. I don't mind that it's like a separate kind of out of map mechanic, but I just, my entire Atlas tree is everything is full, and then I've got the like Val temple thing, and there's no points put in it. I'm not even gone that direction. I don't even want to think about it. It's just like, especially last league, I avoided the moment that the economy just tanked, and I had to now like do this snake thing for like 40 hours to get it. I was like, I hate this shit. This sucks. Like, I don't want it. So I guess it's like a replacement for Alva in a way, which kind of fit a bit better because then it had the like in-map mechanic where you like go into a room and there's extra monsters. But this is just like there's a circle on the ground and then you kill the stuff and get a chest, and that's all it is, unless you decide to go in. So I don't know, if they delete it from the game, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind. I'm not gonna do it this league. I'm actually, as like protest, gonna get 0 points on my ball tree this league. I
haven't interacted with it. So
what sorry, again.
Yeah. I literally haven't interacted with it at all this patch. Like, I haven't touched it. Alva like pops out of the ground when I kill the monsters, and she's like trying to talk to me. I'm like, nope.
Nope. Not interested. Thank you.
The thing that I have about temple is I understand, right? Like I was there last patch, and I understand that they're careful. It's just, my question is just why not make it instanced then? If you just want people to run to Atziri, and everything that isn't just straight up run to Atziri gets nerfed next day because of one tweet. Like, I can tell you from experience looking at Milky's stream every day, he found something, it gets nerfed. He found something, it gets nerfed. And in between, there was stages of the temple where you could build, and it wasn't even that good. Meanwhile, people were printing with other mechanics, and he was like dropping, 3 divines per temple. And it's like, back to maps, 3 divines per temple, maybe a good drop here. Okay, there you go. And I'm just like sitting there, and it gets nerfed again after that. Because they just don't want you to build a temple. And I just don't understand. They just don't let us build a temple and just make it instanced or remove it from the game. But I just don't understand. I don't get it. Like,
yeah, okay. So you're saying like maybe have it so you find a temple and you go in and it's like pre-built for you or something.
Yeah, just pre-build it then. Because people are gonna figure it out. People are smart. They're gonna figure out a way, and it's gonna happen again and again. So if you don't want that headache, which by the way is fine, right, with me, but don't give us the option, and don't make anybody waste their time and then nerf them over and over throughout the league. That's the weird part for me, personally.
It would be cool if they were like, I don't know, 150 preset temple layouts, and like 1 or 2 of them was the snake at full power, and you go through maps, and then you find a temple, and you go in, and you open it, and you're like, oh, it's a snake. And then you go in, and you clear up, and you get like 50 divines. But yeah, maybe another one's just like a straight shot to Atziri, or that actually sounds cool. That sounds fun. You're right. Like, if you don't want people building the temple, build the one you think is acceptable, and then you find that.
Exactly.
I would do that.
And just to give you a perspective on what I think most people like about the temple, besides making a lot of currency, the people I spoke to have said that they like the consistency. It's always the same layout, right? Like, you actually know what's going on instead of being on the Atlas and having no agency over your layout. So a lot of people enjoy that. This like continuous playthrough and like building towards something and then getting rewards at the end once they've built and established everything. But yeah, the way it is right now, if they're not happy, then don't make 5 patch notes about it. Just say like remove it or something. I don't know.
I would like to see them remove it temporarily and bring it back. And I really do think that it should have the PoE 1 treatment of like, because it already has all of the really good unique rewards. They're already there, right? All of the special currency items that come from there, the limbs thing, right, where you get like extra mods. All of that stuff is already there. Like Azeri has some cool drops as well. Just make it so like you build your temple to access specific rooms, just like how it works in PoE 1. You know, you spawn rooms, maybe you can influence which ones change and things like that. And then at the end of, I don't know how many maps, you can then run the temple and you can get your rewards. Like, I think that system worked really well in PoE 1 because, and the great thing about it as well in PoE 1 was that it's like one of those mechanics where it's kind of timeless because those particular mechanics like the double corruption chamber, you know, double corrupting your gems and things like that, they will always be good. It doesn't really matter what they add in the game, they're always going to be useful. So, and as long as they ensure that that is like an exclusive part of that mechanic and you can't get it anywhere else, it's always going to be good. So that way they can afford to make the other drops. Like, let's face it, the temple in PoE 1, like, nobody farms that, right? They literally just go in there and go directly to the room that they want to get. They get the loot from that room, then they go to the next room if they got another one, and then they're literally portaling out. That's just how the mechanic works. People accepted that's how it works over time, and I think it's fine. It has a place in the game. Like, you're not farming that temple for the monster drops, because they just...
Yeah.
It's not a thing. So I'd like to see them do that, because they already have the rewards in place. They already exist. They don't need to design any new rewards or anything. They're already there. They're already good. They just need to kind of get rid of the whole ridiculous juicing side of things, right? But it's like you said there, like the temple, after they nerfed it, maybe it wasn't even that good. I think they're just afraid. Yeah. They're afraid of it.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're traumatized. Yep.
Which is fine, right? Like, I would be traumatized too after last patch, right? Like, I get that, but I'm just saying it's weird. It's a weird situation right now.
Yeah, just take it out. Like, stop stressing about it. You're right. If they just disabled it for a league, I mean, they can't do it now, but I think that maybe the idea is just like absolutely destroy it, kill it, just make it like Azeri rushing is good, and then we can worry about it next league. Because yeah, that was like a disaster last league.
I'm weird though, because I did actually enjoy building the temple. I did actually enjoy it, and then once I had it built, I was like, okay, I'm just tinking everywhere. I'm just getting too much. It's like, whatever. Like, I actually enjoyed building the temple, so I'm like, yeah.
You like that?
Like
you didn't like
they
the
can keep some of that, though, right? Like, they can keep some of the building aspects and then like play into the unique rewards.
They don't want you to build a temple, no matter how strong it is.
But think about it, like a lot of the reason why they've been nerfing the temple is because of some of the lingering rooms that like give you a bunch of like multiplying bonuses. They don't have to have them, right? They can have it so you build the temple to get the exclusive rewards only. Like, they can still keep the building process. But then you don't have
to build out the temple. Then you don't really have to build out the temple, though.
Yeah, dude.
By build, I mean like how it works in PoE 1. Like, you need to build the temple, build the passageways, like that sort of thing, right? Yeah.
Sure, but that's not building a temple. That's assigning a few rooms there. Yeah. That's what I mean, right? Like, that's what I actually like that process. I thought it was fun how people figured it out. It was like kind of like a mystery in the league, but yeah, like
fair enough. Yeah.
Do you by any chance like enjoy games like Factorio a bit?
I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, sure. But
there we go.
I'm just saying, I like the process. I like the process.
You like
the process?
Yeah. All right. I don't really. I'm not into Factorio, and I didn't like the process. So I'm just wondering if there's like a bit of an overlap, and if the solution to this is just
I'm not playing Factorio, to be clear. But
yeah, I know, but you can. If you want to build a tempo so badly, you can just go do that. I don't know. Sure. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. All right, Local, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of the PoE Report.
Thank
you. It was great. I've really enjoyed watching this podcast with a lot of your guests. So it was cool when you asked. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're working on content, let people know what you're working on and where they can find you.
Content. There's a lot of guide writing that needs to happen. As Dream knows, we got our work cut out for us. But then YouTube local, Twitch local, streaming every day when I can. That's it. I'll figure it out. I'm just winging it this league, and I'm actually having a pretty good time with it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Go check out Locale, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of the PoE Report, and we are signing out.